Raw after Mania is in the books, and Drew McIntyre won another match to remain, in if you like, the number one contender to the WWE Championship. We're going to talk about it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is your Raw review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Monday Night Raw. Was not by any means the traditional, big Raw after Mania with all the chaos and the raging fans and everything. Obviously, this is in the Thunderdome. It was very quiet. We did get some kind of returns here and there, which I think were pretty good. But nothing in terms of brand new faces, new debuts, call ups from NXT, nothing like that. But we're going to get into everything that happened on the show in just a second, so stay tuned. And in case you didn't know, right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss all things that are WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the Raw review. The show opened up with Bobby Lashley coming to the arena, and we saw him being confronted by Riddle backstage, and Riddle was saying to him that he wants a opportunity at Bobby Lashley at the WWE Championship, and Bobby Lashley was telling him no. Riddle went on to start quoting Bobby Lashley about how he'll challenge any man and no man can step to him and this, that, and the other. He eventually knocked down Riddle backstage, and that led to their opening match on the show. This was pretty much, as good as, again, showing Bobby Lashley's dominance over Riddle, throwing him into the ring post, steps, barricade, all of that kind of stuff. This was all before the match started, actually. Then once they got into the ring, it was just a matter of time. He tried to hit a floating bro on Lashley, but Lashley moved, grabbed him, put him in the hurt lock, and got the win. So like I say, this is really just to kind of put Lashley over, a big, strong, dominant champion. Um, doesn't really get the mic time that Drew did. We know in terms of WWE, he's probably the secondary champion after Roman Reigns. Um, but yeah, just a strong showing. Riddle doesn't look like he's having the best of times right now with everything going on. Obviously, he lost his championship over the weekend, and then he stepped into the ring with the WWE champion and got battered. To be honest, got battered before they even got into the ring and the match started. So yeah, that is where we are with Riddle and Bobby Lashley. We were supposed to see Bobby Lashley later on the night as well, having a champion's address, I believe, but that didn't really come to fruition. Now that I think about it. Yeah, we move on and talking about Bobby Lashley, and obviously he is Hurt Business. We had the former Hurt Business guys in action, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. They were taking on the Viking Raiders. Very happy to see these guys back. Eric and Ivar. Ivar was on a long-term injury. He's just returned. I think it was 7 or 8 months he was away. So really good to see these guys back. I think this is the division they don't care about. Let's not even try and paint it in a way. They don't care about the tag team division, but it's good to see these guys get back into the ring. They were very entertaining before they left, that Street Profit stuff, if you remember. um so yeah, and obviously in his absence, in Ivar's absence, Eric has not really been doing much. We've seen him here and there in the 24/7 division. He was in the Battle Royal, now that I think about it, on Friday on SmackDown. But yeah, they haven't really been doing much. So yeah, it's good to see these guys back. They had a match with Hurt Business, and Hurt Business got their offense in. I say the Hurt Business, Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, obviously no more Hurt Business. They got their offense in and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously, I guess the returning team was always going to be the hot favorites to win, and they won with the Viking experience, their finish, and then Eric got the pin over Shelton Benjamin. Cedric Alexander, and yeah, they get a win. So be interesting to see how they build them up. Obviously, we have current tag team champions who are AJ Styles and Omos, who wasn't on the card tonight. Very weird. Tag team champions weren't on the card at all. The US champion wasn't on the card at all, Sheamus. So yeah, don't really know what that's about. But we move. Next up on the show, we had Charlotte Flair come out. So obviously Charlotte again, another absence for the past few weeks, another absence on WrestleMania. She comes out and she has kind of reverted back, and I love it. I completely love it. If you guys remember about, is it 2015, 16, 17? I think maybe about 2016, Charlotte, once she had really kind of established herself on the main roster following her call up, she was just an arrogant, arrogant bitch. Like that's the nicest way I can put it. Fantastic character, embracing the fact she's a Flair basically, and she's back to doing that. That's what it said. Charlotte is a world class heel. She is a world class heel as they come. And she came out and she cut this promo about how everyone says that she's always stealing opportunities. She never steals opportunities. She is the opportunity. Obviously, people come, they try and make a name off her. She is the opportunity. Um, Saying how no one wanted her at WrestleMania and all of this kind of stuff. She basically said, "No more Miss Nice Girl. I'm back to being Charlotte Flair, that bitch." Like I said, and it was just good. It's this is, you know, this division, we've spoken about this, this division needs reinvigorating. And Charlotte coming back here, and Rhea Ripley is a new champion, Asuka chasing her title back. Um, these are the beginnings of the making of improving this division. So yeah, Charlotte cut that promo and went back to backstage area. And then we had Rhea Ripley versus Asuka in a WrestleMania rematch for the Raw Women's Championship. Um, a good match, just like the WrestleMania match. This match was really good, really entertaining. They spilled out to the outside after Asuka gave Rhea Ripley another DDT. This time not straight onto the floor, but onto the apron, I believe it was. And then Rhea Ripley fell onto the floor. And then out of nowhere, you saw Charlotte Flair run ringside, throw Asuka into steps, throw her into the barricade. Obviously, by now the match had been thrown out. She attacked Rhea Ripley as well and attacks Asuka again. So Charlotte Flair obviously really, leaving a big statement in terms of the singles women's division on Raw. And yeah, like I said, it's necessary. Like, let's shake it up a bit. She's got her old character back, one of her best characters, her best incarnations. That's definitely as a heel. So yeah, let's see like where she can kick on from here and the direction of the division and where that's gonna go from here as well. Right, guys, we had a Miz TV segment, but before we get onto that, please can you hit the thumbs up button? It does loads for the channel. I appreciate it every time you do. It lets people see this video. Every time you hit the thumbs up button, it kind of puts the video in front of more people. It lets the YouTube algorithm do its thing. So I appreciate it if you could smash the like button if you haven't already. Getting back to the show now, we had Miz and Morrison doing an episode of Miz TV, and their special guest was none other than Mrs. wife, Maurice. So Maurice came down to the ring. Great to see Maurice back on WWE TV, and they were basically promoting the fact they've got a new series of their show Miz and Mrs. On the USA Network after Raw. So yeah, that's basically what she was here for. And Miz went on to talk about, Damien Priest, Bad Bunny, especially Bad Bunny, about how Miz basically made him a star. Miz's name is all over the headlines, this, that, and the other. Damien Priest came out and said, "How are you taking credit for this guy's performance and stuff?" Miz basically went on to say to Damien Priest, "Look, where was your names in the headlines? It was all about me. It was all about Bad Bunny and all of that kind of stuff." And they were basically Miz went to challenge Damien Priest. Morrison said he wanted to challenge Damien Priest. Maurice told them, "Why don't you just have a handicap match?" So they did. Damien Priest came straight down to the ring. These guys are obviously still dressed in their suits and this, that, and the other. Said they're not in ring gear, but Damien Priest didn't care. The match started, and it was probably more competitive than a handicap match should have been, which is, I guess, important to keep Damien Priest looking good. Eventually Miz got into the ring and was kind of stripped down by Damien Priest. But through a distraction by Maurice, we saw Miz actually roll up Damien Priest, foot on the ropes and all sorts. Maurice held his foot down for leverage, and then we saw Miz and Morrison get the win over Damien Priest. So I guess that protects Damien Priest in defeat, the way it happened. But yeah, we'll see where this kind of goes from here. I wouldn't mind a program between Priest and Morrison, but I'm not quite interested in Miz, you know, tossing in around with with Damian Priest. I don't think it's gonna add to any kind of match quality that can help Damian Priest get over further. So yeah, next up on the show, we had a backstage segment where Dana Brooke approached Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, who were watching back her falling on the WrestleMania ramp over the weekend. Dana Brooke, sorry, Mandy Rose said to Nia Jax, "Look, it's embarrassing, this, that, and the other, but I can live with it. It's a crazy, you know, how things happen and they just come out of nowhere." And she slaps Nia Jax as to a pun for what she just said. Dana Brooke then comes into the picture, and her and Mandy Rose attack Nia Jax, leave her laying. We get on to the actual tag match between Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Entering the ring, we saw Nia Jax trip on the ring ropes. Um, yeah, I don't know if this was meant to be some type of comedy or, yeah, selling the fact that she can make mistakes too. She has embarrassing moments too. We saw this match kind of go on, and it was nothing special. It was the same kind of stuff we've seen from these guys in the last few weeks. And then we saw Mandy Rose and Nia Jax on the other side of the ring by the commentary desk. And Mandy Rose kind of got her way back into the ring. I think Nia Jax may have threw her into the ring, in fact. Nia Jax went to get into the ring and tripped again on the apron and fell down. She then slid into the ring. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke slid out the other side and just walked up the entranceway. The referee's counting 10 count, obviously, and they're just walking away. They're just walking away, which left Nia Jax very, very angry. Like, I don't want now, definitely, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke shouldn't have another opportunity at the women's championships, tag championships. Not for now, because you've just walked away from a chance. You know, you walked away from a match. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're scared of Nia all of a sudden, or it's not worth it. That's what they were saying. You've walked away from a match. You're like, that just wasn't good booking in how to finish this, like, at all. Why did anyone think that this was a good idea? They just leave? They should be at the bottom of the rankings of this division now, 100%. Um, very, very weird. I didn't enjoy it. I think it was stupid. This direction of this title, the women's tag titles, has fallen off a cliff. It is just absolute rubbish. And I just don't know why they're treating it like this. They don't respect tag team wrestling. That's it. And to be honest, we know the answer. We knew that. Next up on the show, the New Day versus Elias and Jackson Riker. Elias was obviously trying to pull off one of his songs, as he always does, in the middle of the ring, but New Day were interfering on the trombone, and they had a bit of war of words going back and forth. But I thought it was a bit silly because obviously Elias and Jackson Riker got beaten up by Strowman at WrestleMania, where New Day lost their titles. So it's like, why are we trying to one up each other? We're both currently losers, in both of our separate situations. Um, but they put on a decent match, to be completely fair to them. Probably one of the best matches on the night, which isn't really saying much. The Rhea Ripley Asuka match, I think, was pretty good also. But yeah, and the main event, which we'll get onto in a second. But yeah, this was probably one of the better matches on the card as well. And we saw the New Day pick up the win with the up, down, down. Um, so yeah, really good, or really decent match, should I say, between these guys. But nothing, nothing incredible. Don't know where this story is going, especially with the Raw Tag Champions not being on the show. But hey, tag team wrestling. We move on to, or I'll set this up. Basically, somewhere in the show we had MVP come out, where this was meant to be what the champions address was. Then I guess Bobby Lashley was going to come out Instead, he was interrupted by Drew McIntyre. MVP and Drew McIntyre had a bit of a war of words. Drew McIntyre still wants to circle around to the WWE Championship. Braun Strowman came out and Braun Strowman said that, yeah, you've had your opportunity. It's my opportunity next. This, that, and the other. Randy Orton came out. He said he's done being distracted with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss, and that um, now he's ready to do what he does best, become the Legend Killer again, become the Viper again, and become WWE Champion again. So Adam Pearce then came out and set up a triple threat match between Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and Randy Orton, and said that, yeah, the winner of you guys is gonna face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania Backlash. What a name! Um, but yeah, that's what's gonna be next. So we were gonna see that in the main event. Just talking about backstage segments. Whilst I remember, we had Alexa Bliss cut a backstage promo, and I say backstage promo, Alexa's playground, and she's basically saying that she realized that she didn't need the Fiend, that she could run on herself, and she's got her own little puppet now called Lily. We're gonna see where that's gonna go. And then we had a segment as well of the actual Firefly Funhouse with Bray, and Bray was he was saying some stuff. I can't even lie to you. It went through one ear and out the other. But I think he said something like, okay, don't worry about Alexa Bliss. We don't need her anymore. We only can trust you. We can trust and stuff like that. So we will see how that continues. Anyway, main event time. Like I said earlier, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Braun Strowman, number one contender for the WWE Championship. The winner will take on Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania Backlash. We saw Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre working kind of well together for spots, obviously to take out the bigger man in Braun Strowman. We saw some attacks outside the ring. Strowman was very quick to get the stairs involved into this match. Triple threats, no disqualification. We saw Randy Orton kind of controlling the pace at times over McIntyre. And to get to the finish, we saw Randy Orton hit an RKO on Strowman, basically had Strowman for the three, when all of a sudden McIntyre nailed him with a Claymore, nailed Randy Orton with a Claymore. Braun Strowman was still kind of incapacitated from the RKO, and Drew McIntyre pinned um, Randy Orton, sorry, to win the number one contendership match. As he was in the ring celebrating, we saw MVP come out to the top of the entranceway, and he was standing facing MVP. He must have felt people get into the ring. He turned around and he was attacked by none other than T-Bar and Mace from Retribution. I guess Retribution aren't together anymore, but yeah. They then picked him up and gave him the double choke slam, the sit down choke slam thing that they do. Have these guys now aligned themselves with the Hurt Business? Are T-Bar and Mace Hurt Business now? I don't think so. I think maybe they're just doing the bidding of the Hurt Business. I wouldn't mind if they joined the Hurt Business. I would definitely want them to unmask, get new gear, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it would make sense if Bobby Lashley's getting two guys into the Hurt Business that are basically bigger than him, at least in height in one aspect. But yeah, Drew McIntyre is number one contender. It doesn't really excite me coming out of WrestleMania. We've seen Drew be at the top of the card for quite a while now in the last 12 months. They probably could have done with someone else just to keep things fresh. Who knows? Maybe you Lashley set to drop this the next pay-per-view. We don't even know anymore. But yeah, I think it was a very interesting end to the match. T-Bar and Mace, what is their future? Are they with the Hurt Business? In, out, in, out. Shake it all about. What do you guys think? This was not a good episode of Raw, man. It was definitely not a Raw after Mania episode. That's 100%. And then of course on commentary we had the debut of Adnan Virk, who is, I guess, very green in respects to wrestling commentary, and you could see that Corey was the MVP. Corey Graves carried the show a lot with him and Brian Saxton. I've always got a thing about calling him Braxton. I don't know why, but yeah, let me know down below what you think of the commentary team, the new commentary team. Let me know what you think of T-Bar and Mace. Are they Hurt Business? Are they in? Are they out? And Charlotte Flair's return to this kind of real super arrogant heel character. Let me know as well what you think about that. Guys, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Remember, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. And please hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.